Hey, what's up, BookTube? Welcome back. So I'm going to be participating in another readathon. This is Tome Infinity and Beyond, sort of science fiction themed readathon. It's created by Megan and Allie over at Brushing Bookends, and I first heard about it through Sue and Megan over at the restricted section. Now, you don't necessarily have to read science fiction books for this readathon, but the themes and prompts around it are all sort of science fiction based, and I'm going to kind of stick with those particular reads because I haven't read any science fiction in a while, so I'm kind of using this as a motivating factor. So the basic premise behind this is Earth is scheduled for destruction by aliens on September 22nd. So you have 2 weeks notice from the 7th through the 21st to kind of get yourself ready and get yourself off the planet. Now you get to choose from one of 4 shuttles leaving the planet, and each one will have a different destination, a different planet within our solar system. Now, due to the Goldilocks Effect, it says you must make 3 stops before you reach your new home. If you're dissatisfied with your new home, though, you can continue on until you find a satisfactory location. So, it does say that some of the natives of these planets may not take kindly to you kind of stopping in and taking off so quickly. So, in order to appease the people on the planet, you have to read a venerated work of literature to honor their culture before you're allowed to go. So with this particular readathon, there is a whole map and mission log thing. You can find it on the restriction section's description of this readathon. There's links to it, a PDF, and it shows like each ship, the requirement to get on board each ship, and then once you land on each planet, what type of venerated work you should have to read before you're allowed to leave. And it'll show the flight path from that planet where you have choices to go. From the initial launch from Earth, you only have 1 landing spot, but once you're on a planet, I think you have like at least 2, sometimes 3 choices to go from there. So I will try and put up a picture of the map of our solar system and the flight paths, but definitely go to their restricted section and check out the links. It'll be for a little bit easier viewing. So I'm going to be boarding Ship A, and the requirement for that is to read a book of 500 or more pages. So for that I've chosen Illuminae. This is the first book in the Illuminae files by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff. I've had this book for quite some time. It is 600 pages long. It shouldn't be too long to read though, because it's literally told through hacked documents, emails, schematics, military files, medical reports, interviews, etc. So it's an epistolary type book, and you'll see all these emails and things like that. So some pages don't have a whole lot of text. Should be able to fly through it pretty quickly. It's set in the year 2575, and 2 warring megacorporations are fighting over this little ice-specked planet at the edge of the universe. But no one saw fit to tell the people living on that planet. And we end up following a couple that was sort of in the process of breaking up, that now find themselves having to join forces to find their way off this planet. And it sounds really good. I've heard really good things about this trilogy, and I've wanted to read it for quite some time, so now's my opportunity. A little kick in the pants, you might say. So Ship A is going to be landing on Neptune, and I don't think I'm going to be that comfortable on Neptune. So the venerated work, or the topic, is to choose a science fiction book with fantasy elements or a fantasy book with science fiction elements. And I believe it was possibly Sue, or maybe it was Megan on the restricted section. I think they actually choose this particular book, and I've wanted to read it for a while too. So I'm picking Kindred by Octavia E. Butler. I've heard really good things on this one as well. And it's basically about a 26-year-old newly married woman, black woman, who is kind of pulled back through time into the antebellum South onto a plantation as a slave, and she ends up saving the life of the son of the plantation owner. Then maybe she kind of is thrown back to her own time, but she keeps getting pulled back to this particular point in time, which is very dangerous for a young black woman. And the stays keep getting longer and longer. And will she become trapped there? Is it, how the dangers around her? Will she survive it? I'm just really curious about this whole particular book. So I've heard really good things about her writing, and I've just never read anything by her. So now's my chance. But like I said, I don't think I'm going to be that comfortable on Neptune, so I decided I'm going to hop to the next destination, which I had a couple choices, but I went with Mars because the prompt for Mars is to read a science fiction book with aliens. And for that, I have a book by a independent author who I've read her work before. And I'll be choosing Collision by Rachel Ochs. This is the first book in her Colliding Worlds trilogy. And I, before that, have read the Deadland Saga, which was a zombie apocalypse sort of story, or series rather, based on Dante's Divine Comedy. So there are 3 books in it, and I absolutely adored it. She's also the author of the Fringe series, of which I've read the first book in it. I think there's going to be at least 5 by this point, but I'm way behind in that, so I need to reread book 1 to catch up with that. But Collision is kind of a similar plot in a way to Illuminae, where you have like a distant war taking place, but instead of it ending up on a distant ice-specked planet, it actually comes crashing here into Earth. And one particular woman, Sienna, discovers a survivor from a crashed alien ship, and she has the choice either to join forces with them or to die so they can keep their, presence a secret. And it sounds really, really good. I always love a good alien invasion kind of story, especially if it's on Earth rather than some other unknown planet. But I'm looking forward to that as well. So I'm kind of just setting myself 3 books because in addition to this readathon, I am still participating in the Daphne du Maurier project. Well, I'll be reading one of her works every month. So this particular month of September, I'm reading Jamaica Inn. So that's already 4 books I'm at this point, and I don't want to overload myself. I'm sure I'll have some audiobooks going as well. But if I decide to, travel beyond Mars, I will let you guys know at that point. I may vlog my way through it or something. We'll see. But anyway, let me know if you guys are participating in Tome Infinity and beyond, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye. So of course, right now as I start filming, they're testing the tornado warnings. Yay.